What's going on, and welcome to another episode of the Short Men Only podcast with your host, your boy Jalal Wilson. And man, I say it every week, but I'm fired up, and I really am fired up because that's how I like to be when I jump on this microphone for this show. I like to get fired up because I want to inspire you to go be great. So when I want to get on this podcast, I have to feel great, and I feel great today. The song I was listening to, because I always tell you guys, I like to let you know what my frame was before I jumped into this podcast. It was All My Life with Dirk and J. Cole. All my life, man. The hook's catchy, man. I vibe with the whole song. You know what I'm saying? So that's what got me fired up today. Now, I want to cover something. Have you ever had that feeling where you just feel like you're moving, but you're getting nowhere? And you're like, man, but I got a lot done. I mean, I did a lot of things, but you still have that feeling that you're getting nowhere. We're going to talk about that today on the pod. But first, I'm going to give you a quote, and I'm going to tell you a story, and then we're going to jump into it. So, our quote today is from your boy Albert Einstein. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you have to keep riding. I thought it was saying keep moving, but it's keep riding. So you have to keep riding. Now, there's a lot of irony in that because on my way here, last Saturday, I'll start with this. Let's go give you a little backstory. So last Saturday, I was going to ride my bike to the gym. And so I get my bike out. I'm halfway. I needed some air in my tires. So I happened to see this tire shop open. And I asked him, could I get some air? He gave me some air. And so I'm riding down the road. And, it was a beautiful day. And all of a sudden, I'm halfway to the gym. And I hear, duh, duh, duh. I look back, and my back tire is flat. I'm like, man, I just got air in it. I was really trying to ride to the gym today to get my exercise in. And, man, I had a flat tire. So I took my bike to go took my bike to the repair shop to get the tire fixed and all that stuff. And I know some of you was like, bro, why didn't you fix it yourself? Well, bro, that's not what I do. So I didn't do it. So anyway, I took my bike to the tire shop and had them fix it up. So I go pick up my bike, and I decided I'm riding my bike. It's a beautiful day. I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go record my podcast, and then I'm gonna bike ride the 6 miles home. Now it's almost 90 degrees outside, but I was like, this sounded like a good plan, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm riding my bike to come record the podcast, and I got the epiphany to, you know what? I need to encourage my short brothers. I'm about to drop a short right now, encouraging them to get outside. Now, my phone was in my backpack because I've been trying to be able to enjoy what I'm doing without needing to listen to headphones or whatever the case might be. So I had to stop my bike, get my phone out of my backpack. I got my phone out of my backpack, and now I'm getting ready to ride down this steep hill. I mean, this mug is steep. But I'm like, yeah, I'm a press record on my phone, and then I'm going to ride down the hill saying, get outside. It sounded real cool in my head. So anyway, I start for this hill, and I try to hit the record button on my phone. I can't. I lose my balance and fly off my bike and hit my ankle with my bike in the process. And I was like, this is stupid because the whole point was to tell people to get outside and enjoy the moment. And I couldn't even be in the moment because I'm too busy trying to make a video telling you to go be in the moment. The irony of that. And all I had to do is what Einstein said. To keep my balance, I just had to keep writing. I didn't have to get off. I didn't have to get my camera. So the lesson has been well learned. Next time, you go out to ride your bike, don't ever think about trying to tell somebody else what to do while you're operating machinery. Do what you do and then tell them after. That's the lesson I took away from that. Anyway, so now let's get into this podcast because I think this is something that, affects a lot of us men in life. We want to feel like we've accomplished something, that we're going in a direction. We have this drive within us to be something, to leave some type of something on the earth. That is within all of us. Now, there may be a few that just like, man, I'm just here to chill. Okay. Well, for the ones who aren't, we have this feeling. And so, because we know that we're here for something more than ourselves. And it's an interesting time because right now in the world, we are busier than we have ever been at any point in society. Like, think about all the things we have now. And we're subways, we have vehicles that can get us from point A to point B super fast. We have all these different modes of transportations. We can fly, we can connect with anybody via phone or via email, text, whatever, right? We are the most busiest we've ever been, but yet most of us feel empty. Like we're having a longing for a sense of purpose that we do not currently have. And so we're busy, but we're empty. It's almost like feeling you get the satisfaction of going to go fill up your car at the gas station only to realize that every piece of gas that you put in is leaking out the bottom, right? You know you're filling it up, but as soon as you fill it up, it leaks out. And that's how a lot of us are feeling. We're filling ourselves up with stuff, but it's leaking out, and so we're not feeling fulfilled. We're not getting the use out of it that we want. Like, the purpose of the car is to be able to drive it. It is not to leak gas out of it to where it ends up going nowhere. And I I want to talk about this subject because I want to give you I want to tell you about my experience with it. And then I also want to give you a couple questions that we can ask ourselves when we find ourselves in this rut of doing so much and getting nowhere. So I'm going to tell you this story. Um, it was like, it was, I think it was last week or the week before. I came home. I'm walking in the house like, I'm the man. Like, I just felt like I had did so much that day. I just felt like I learned so much. I did so much. It was just a weird, just amazing feeling. So, um, I just felt accomplished. That's the only way. I'm trying to think of a better words to say, but I literally just felt accomplished that day. And I remember coming home from work, and I'm sitting there, and I was thinking about on my way home, and thinking about what I did. And what I did that day was listening to I listened to some YouTube videos on the latest psychology tricks to be better at, being my best self. Like some psychology tricks that can help to be a better me. And I was excited because I wanted to be able to, share the tips that I learned, and applied. Once I did it, I wanted to be able to share that with my family. And I also worked because I was at work working. But I just felt like, and I was reading some things, also listening to some, videos about some software and stuff that, you know, I want to use, and, um, videos on how to grow a brand to like 10K a month. And, you know, uh, I also was just taking notes on my phone in like airplane mode. So I'm like, man, I'm really doing something. And it was just like, man, this is amazing. So I walk in my house. I come home from work after I've done all this amazing stuff, right? And I walk into my house like the big dog is here. Yeah. Feeling all like, accomplished. Like I went in there, I was just like, yeah, the man is here. And my son comes up to me. Uh no, first, I go in there and kiss my wife, like, yeah, your man is here. Ha ha. Yeah. High fiving the kids, like, I'm the man. And then I went up to one of my sons and was like, hey, what'd you learn today? Cause I'm feeling like the man. I done learned a lot of stuff today. So see if these kids don't learn something. Sitting in this house, eat my food. I want to see if they learn something for themselves today. And they're like, uh, they're telling me what they learned. And one of my sons was telling me about the hydrogen in plants. And I was like, yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah, yeah, whatever that means. Like, yeah, that sounds cool. And I go, yeah, did you know? And I did. After he told me, I was like, yeah, that's nice. And I look at him and go, did you know there are people that have made 50 million on a newsletter? And he looks at me and says, huh, that's nice. Huh, gotta go. And I'm like, huh, all right, cool. And so then, of course, since I got many kids, I went to some of my other kids and repeated the same story, and got similar reactions and responses from all of them. And I'm thinking in my head, these guys are a tough crowd. I guess, man, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't got their newsletter game up. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand how all the money that can be made on the internet. They don't get it. These guys are just kids. So I'm thinking, I'll just save my enthusiasm for later on. When I get into bed with my wife, I'll just save the enthusiasm for there because I'm sure she's gonna get it. So uh, later I'm in the bed, me and my wife are talking about the newsletter thing, and she listens, like intensely. She's like, oh, oh, yeah, she giving me the look like, yeah, I'm feeling like what I'm saying is, yeah. And she has this look on her face. I noticed as I'm talking, she got this look on her face. Because when you woman, you kind of know when they got a look. Like they want to ask a question or say something, but they're not deep down inside, they're not sure they're going to say it for whatever reason. But the look she gave me said it all. And in that moment, I paused. And this is what the look said to me. But are you going to do it? That's what the look said to me. And I was thinking to myself, well, God nabbit, that is a great question. Am I going to do it? And I felt like it was one of those moments where it was like, down goes Frazier. Like, I felt like it was just punched. I was just punched in my gut because all the wind was sucked out of me in that one moment with that question. Because it made me think of, really, what did I do today? Was I going to use the information? And I knew that right at that moment, I was not going to start a newsletter. So I thought about it. And, I thought to myself, was everything I just learned today pointless? Was everything that I came in this house thinking I had just accomplished so much, what was it for? And the more I thought about it, the more I just wanted to stay down. Have you ever seen a fight where you could just tell the fighter wants to just stay down? I just wanted to stay down because I knew that it was just, I was learning to be learning, not learning to apply. So I did what I thought I should do in that moment, and that was I gave her a kiss and rolled over and began to process my day now with a more clear view. And the first question that came to mind was, as I stated before, is what did I accomplish? And why did it feel like I was accomplishing something today? Like, why did it feel like I was getting something done that day? What about watching YouTube made me feel like that? And two reasons popped in my head. One of the first thing that popped in my head is what society wants us to do. See, society wants us to consume. And see, when we consume, then we don't have to do the work to create. When we consume, we're just consuming. Oh, yeah, this is how you do the thing. But we never actually do the work to do the thing. So we're just consuming just to consume. And that can apply to a lot of areas in life where we just consume just to consume, where we're overeating, where we're overindulging in this or that. Those are all areas where we are doing, too much. We're over consuming. I mean, look at all the money that people are making on live streaming platforms from people who are just paying to watch them play games. Now, these are the same games that they could be playing themselves, or there's, other little sites that people are watching people to do things on too. Of course, it feels good to people in that moment to watch someone else do the thing, but we lose the energy, the learning that comes with actually doing the thing, right? And the second thing I realize is when we feel accomplished by just watching something, it lowers the barrier of entry to feel accomplished. So you don't need to spend time learning how things work yourself. You just watch someone else do the thing and almost feel like you did it as like a supporting, like a team member. It's almost like going to the basketball game and watching your favorite team win the championship. You and feel invested, almost like, you did it. You were out there, but you weren't. I mean, you were just there in the crowd watching instead of participating. And that is what a lot of us do. We get participation trophies in life because we don't want to do what we need to do to actively participate in the things in life that will make us better. So the honest answer that I had for that day was that I found a creative way of doing nothing while acting like I did something. And that hurt. I mean, who wants to realize that they spent all day basically doing nothing, even though it felt like they were doing something? So I want you to think for yourself, are you going through your days looking like you're accomplishing something, but then have nothing to show for it, have nothing you're working towards at the end of the day? It's just, yeah, look at me, this is what I've done, but there's no look at me, look how I'm learning, or look how I'm doing this, but nothing. There's no fruit. There's no nothing. And I know a lot of us get caught up in that. And I want you, and myself included, we got to get back to our formula we talked about last week. And that is, once we realize, okay, this is the situation we're in, we done messed up. We realize, hey, I didn't really learn anything today. I was really just being distracted and looking like I did something. So we mess up. That is what we did. We fessed up because we said, hey, I really didn't do anything. I really am not doing anything at this point that is going to move my life forward. Not doing it. So now that we messed up, now that we fessed up, we get up. Hey, you know what? Right now, since I realized this is what I've been doing, let me get off YouTube or let me get off this right now and think, what should I be doing in this moment? And the living up. So how we live up is this in this moment is we need to ask ourselves questions before turning on another YouTube or whatever the question. The first question we need to ask ourselves is, what am I trying to avoid doing right now? Like, what do I know I should be doing that I am trying to avoid doing? And the beautiful part is your subconscious will answer you. It will answer you, I promise you. So whatever that is, go do that. And why is that important? Because our brains hate to do the hard stuff. So it looks for anything to distract us. And sometimes those things can even come from the form of good things. It's good to, want to learn about different things on YouTube and want to educate yourself. It is good. But sometimes a good thing can still be the wrong thing if it's done at the wrong time. And for me, it was being done at the wrong time because I needed to be taking action in my life, right? To get me from where I'm at to where I want to go. That was going to require action, not me sitting there watching something online. That's not action. So that's just, that is procrastination, active procrastination. The thing I want you to think about in this and with this is I know you have a time where you can think to yourself, like where you've experienced one of these situations. And if you sat there and you asked yourself, like, what was the point of doing this? Like, how did this really help me get to where I want to go? Did this really benefit my life in any way? And usually if you're honest with yourself and you ask yourself those two questions, you'll realize that what you just did doesn't. So maybe what we can do when we find ourselves in those situations is before we go into an activity, hey, that first question, by doing this, what am I trying to avoid doing right now? And then the second question is, what do I hope to get out of this? Like, and is this some benefit that can be applied to my life? Because the reality is we don't have unlimited time on this earth. And I'm not trying to say you can't relax, you can't enjoy YouTube, you can't enjoy. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, don't act like you're going to live forever. Because my short brothers, we are not going to live forever. So while we're here, we need to make the most of the time that we have. Because the time is the only resource we cannot get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. And I heard this quote by Myron Golden. And it just says simply, do the work. That's it. Do what you're supposed to do. Do the work. It sounds simple, but it's hard to practice. But this week, I want you to give it a try with those 3 questions. If you find yourself aimlessly, mindlessly scrolling, ask yourself, what should I be doing right now? And go do that. All right, my brothers? Because what I can promise you is you'll get more done this week than you would have thought, or in the next week than you would have thought was possible if you take me up on my word with this. And just ask yourself that question and then follow it up. If you're still not convinced after that, follow up with, hey, how will this benefit my life? Is this what I should be doing with my time? All right. And if you haven't already signed up for the newsletter, man, get on it. It's time. The link is in the description. The Short Men Only newsletter. Like, this is the only newsletter catered towards short men. Like, I'm making this newsletter only for you. I'm not trying to serve any other audience with this newsletter. It's the only newsletter geared towards just you. So make sure you sign up for it. And I'm going to see you guys in the next pod. And as always, you are enough. You are worthy. I believe in you. Go get it.